Business model based on free is never going to be easy, but the old print media may have won a significant battle today. Newspaper publishers will now be able to set a limit on the number of free news articles that people will be able to read through Google, as our culture correspondent Stephen Smith now reports.
It's the big grudge match in cyberspace. In the right corner, Super Murdoch, the leathery old slugger who knows all the tricks. In the left corner, the newcomer, the all-devouring search engine Google. Let's get ready to rumble. Talking to his own TV station down under,
Rupert Murdoch, welcome.
The veteran newspaper mogul gave his opinion of Google, brackets, not high.
You've been particularly critical of what you call the content kleptomaniacs and the plagiarists. Are you particularly talking about Google here?
Well, the people who just simply pick up everything and run with it and steal our stories. We say they steal our stories, they just take them.
Is that Google?
Without payment. Well, there's Google, there's Microsoft, there's Ask.com, there's a whole lot of people.
Following the lead of the Financial Times, Mr. Murdoch's News International plans to charge internet surfers for reading its content online. Other paper groups are considering something similar. But of course many people will find their way to these stories through search engine services like Google News. And Murdoch complains that as things stand, he makes no money from this arrangement.
Rupert Murdoch has made his fortune in the analogue world where he was the gatekeeper. He could control access to football on Sky. He could control pricing of newspapers. In the digital world, there's an infinite amount of content, and he's not in control. And Google is a place that people choose where they go to, and Murdoch isn't happy about that, but he can't change the rules.
Round one saw Murdoch's News International turning its back on Google, reportedly threatening to give its online content to another search engine, Microsoft's Bing, instead. What this proves is that bundling up content in one place online is big business. People at this trade fair in London today make a living out of it. A big player like Google directs about a fifth of all traffic to news sites. We spoke to another so-called news aggregator who does accept that news has to be paid for.
People are perhaps beginning to get used to having stuff available anytime they want it online, kind of for free. And I think that actually in society now we're beginning to realise that quality journalism isn't free, and that actually we do need to be able to, I suppose, fund the infrastructure that goes behind creating that kind of content.
Today they're circling each other ever tighter. Murdoch's websites and other subscription news sites will be available through Google after all, but punters will only be allowed 5 free visits a day before they're asked to pay. So are they kissing and making up, or is this a deathly embrace?
For some of us, I think we feel Google has caved in, because Rupert Murdoch may think the Times is wonderful, but there are equally very good sources that are out there that cover the same stories and are available for free. And to be honest, who would go to the Times or the Wall Street Journal? If it's not in Google, then as far as most people are concerned, it doesn't exist.
Who's going to win? Google is going to win, because that's where the public is going to access content. I don't see them as taking a morally positive or negative position here. They're just there offering a service that's very useful and that's free and that helps people find information.
Newsnight has learned a senior Google executive will assure the newspaper industry tomorrow that it wants to help it make money from its online content, and that it's time to raise the tone of the whole debate.
Stephen Smith reporting. In the spirit of openness, I should say that no one from News International or Google was available. Joining us now from New York, though, is Roy Seekoff, the founder of the completely free online news and opinion portal, The Huffington Post, and just back from scouring the States for ways to charge online readers is Roger Parry, a former publisher of regional newspapers here in the UK that started charging readers this week. Roger Parry, let me come to you first. So this kind of almost it's 5 clicks and you're out strategy that Google have announced today, how significant a moment is this?
I think it's one more step along the road to move the internet from where it started to where it's probably going to end up. I mean, the internet is a fantastic distribution mechanism for media, and historically it's been a free distribution mechanism for media. I think people are recognising now that, like all other media types, it's going to have to be a way of charging for things.
Roy Seacoff, is this a victory for the old media?
Not really. It's a PR move, you know. You have to understand, people don't use the internet like they use a newspaper. You don't go there and read every story from front to back. You go, you flit from here, you go to there, you link to this. So 5 clicks, that no user is going to be going to the Wall Street Journal more than that in a given day. So I think it's mostly just a PR move from Google.
So it's a PR move, but it is a concession, isn't it? It looks like from here, it looks like a Murdoch victory.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's how the Murdoch, you know, the little bone they threw to him was a PR move to make it look good. But it really doesn't have any effect on the business model at all. It's not going to change the way internet sites make money or news sites make money on the web.
Roger Perry, is that right? It just makes no difference. It's a little PR sop.
I think it's more than a PR sop. I think it is a fairly significant move, as I said earlier. You know, it's nice to present all this as a battle somehow. It's great graphics, battle between Murdoch and Google. It isn't really. This is two...
Well, you look at the language that they've used about each other at times, that some of the Murdoch's employees have used.
Yeah, well, Murdoch and his team are quite robust. I mean, I think they like to take things on the chin. But in practice, this is 2 different types of media coalescing. This is old media coming to terms with the internet, and it's the internet coming to terms with old media. Something new is going to emerge from this, which will be a mixture of pay models and free models.
I think... Roy Seacoff's colleague, Arianna Huffington, said yesterday that something like 80%, according to a survey of news readers in the States, just wouldn't pay.
Well, they say
right.
that.
Well, that's what you said in the package there. You know, what you're saying very clearly is the way most people use the news, the way they get to it. Let's say you took every Murdoch property off of Google and you searched for an item that had been written about on the Wall Street Journal, even though there was no News Corp things. There's still 30 articles, 100 articles that you could link to writing about it. So what are you going to do? Are you going to outlaw that people can't write about other stories? They can't link to it. They can't make comments on it. It's just, you know, you can't let the genie's out of the bottle and you're not going to stuff it back in. And I think what it said in the package is you can't find, there are new ways, there are new rules of the road, but you're not going to find them using an analog map to find your way in a digital world.
Roger Perry, isn't that the point? I mean, it's like putting a toll booth in the middle of a desert and a car drives up and it's just going to drive round it and not stop at the toll booth.
No, I don't think that is quite right, because there are lots of things that are being produced by professional media organisations that are special, they're unique, people really want access to them, they really want them, very local information or very specialised information, and for a small amount of money, they will pay for it.
And you publish magazines, I think, like Girl Gamer, Truck Stop News, Jap Fest, Metal Hammer, Golden Gods. Are people going to pay for those?
Well, they certainly pay for the magazines at the moment, and
But will they pay for the online content?
If the online experience is as good and as entertaining as the magazine, I'm sure they will.
But why would they, when they can probably find all this content somewhere else for free, as we were just hearing there from Roy Seacoff?
Well, perhaps they couldn't. I mean, if you want to read a star columnist like Jeremy Clarkson or Kelvin Mackenzie, I think you would be prepared to pay your 5p or your 10p if the only place you could get them was on a particular website. If it's generic, then yes, it'll be free. If it's specialised, people will pay for it.
Yeah. Roy Seacoff, is that right? I mean, I just want to kind of looking into your crystal ball into the future a little way. Will all the newspapers and magazines survive, and does it matter if they don't?
Well, it does matter that they survive, and there has to be new models of doing it, but I don't think the micropayments that Roger's describing are the way. As a matter of fact, in that same survey, 3% of the people say that they prefer the micropayment idea. So it's not that. There will be new things. There needs to be experimentation, but we've got to understand that news consumers have now found this golden age where they can get what they want. They can link here. They can sample from there. And we've got to find the way to satisfy them. And there will be new models. I think there's some hybrids between for-profit and not-for-profit. There's other ways to monetize this, I think, than this micropayment strategy or this day pass that News Corp has been talking about.
Yeah.